So we're back. Mr. Funches had to take an important call. Listen, this is what life is. We're on real. We're real here. So we'll transition into a question. I always ask my guests
Okay.
to provide either a blessing, a distraction, or perspective through lyrics of a song. So before you answer, there are rules to this.
All right, go for it.
If you can sing, I need you to sing your throat box out. If you can rap, you got to come hard in the paint, brother. But if
Um,
you can't do any one of those, I need you to say it boldly with meaning
okay.
and with force. So, can you give us a lyric to a song that's either provided a blessing, a perspective, or a distraction that you can provide?
A lyric to a song that provided a blessing, a perspective, or a distraction. Or a
Yes.
distraction. There's so many songs like that. There's so many songs with the distractions. There's so many songs that have perspective. That's a tough one
Or
right
a blessing. Or a blessing.
there. Okay. Or a blessing.
Yes.
Oh man. Oh, you put me on the spot with this one. I'm gonna go with my man R. Kelly. I'm a
Okay.
huge R. Kelly fan. I love R. Kelly. I'm sorry,
Okay.
regardless of what anybody has to say. So when we look at a R. Kelly song, because there's so many of them, I'll use one that he wrote where I'm the greatest.
Mm.
I'm the greatest. I'm the blood of the sky. I can't think of the lyrics. I'm the mount peak up high. Can you hear it? I'm the world's greatest. That is
Yes.
that is one of the greatest child motivating songs. Then he had before that, I believe I can fly.
Yes.
I used to
Yes.
think that I could not go on. And that
Yes.
song right there, I'm going to tell you what believe I can fly is really a song where there's a lot of people who really wanted to give up.
Mm.
And in the midst of wanting to give up, I believe I can fly.
Yes.
I believe I can get over this. I believe I can actually do it. And then he had another song. I mean, this man wrote hit after hit after hit. This
Yes.
man wrote a song for Michael Jackson called "You Are Not Alone."
And can I just say this before we go further? We
Uh,
are separating the baby from the bath water,
correct, correct. There's a huge separation.
which I just want because some people will get upset. It was like, wait a minute, you're using him. We
Uh,
do not, we're not speaking of what has happened. We're not speaking of what he's did. We're
mhm.
just speaking of the
Yes,
perspective of what everybody has their good and bad.
yes.
And you're speaking of what he's done. So go back to Michael Jackson, as you mentioned before.
When he wrote "You Are Not Alone,"
Mm, I was not aware that he wrote that song.
he wrote "You Are Not Alone." He wrote "Fortunate" for Maxwell. He wrote "Life"
Wow.
for Casey and JoJo. He wrote "It's Gonna Rain," something that you must know.
Yeah.
It will rain. There'll be pain.
I had no idea. I know he
Their
was
life album.
a prolific songwriter, but the people that you're mentioning, you said Maxwell, he wrote what for Maxwell?
Fortunate. He wrote Fortunate. He wrote Fortunate for Maxwell. He wrote Life for Casey and JoJo. How did I get life? Life,
Life, life,
life. Yes, that's
life, life.
he wrote that song. And then, like I said, I used to love the Kelly Price song, It Will Rain. It's Gonna Rain.
Okay.
He wrote that song. He wrote for Celine Dion. He wrote
Okay. Give it some
uh
relevance.
what is that song he helped to write with Kurt Franklin off the Revolution album? Because I love Kurt Franklin too.
I am a big fan.
He wrote on that Revolution album. He helped write co-produce on that. He wrote see, so when we look at that, like the lyrics are so deep
Yes.
for where you are, what you have going on, and it speaks to you in that mode, in that moment of
Yes.
where you are. So
Yes.
the lyrics, see, and then you have songs that are distractions. For instance, if I have an addiction, and I'll say like I have an addiction of fiending for sex, whatever.
Uh-huh.
If I have an addiction, then I'm gonna go put on I feel so freaky tonight, you know, and I need
Yes.
someone. That song right there, Sex Me One and Two.
Mm.
Your Body's Calling. We go to the Double Up album when I mean, this man has wrote so many songs, and every song speaks volumes to what you have going on in that mode. Remember High Five? I spend quality time. He wrote
Yes.
that song. You can hear him in the background.
Wow.
He's doing the overlays.
I did not know that. Wow. I did
Yeah,
not know how far and vast. I know again that he wrote songs, but just the list that you provided is going, I'm like, wow, I didn't
what's that,
know. I didn't
what's that
know.
song he wrote for Whitney Houston before she passed away? The
I have no
song.
idea.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I gotta pull it up. Hold on. I gotta pull that up so
Okay.
that we can have that. Because while we're talking about it, so I don't
Well, you can't play it on you could talk about it, but we can't play it because I'll get a strike. I'm on
I'll
YouTube.
look to you. I look to
Okay.
you. I look to you. And he wrote
Yeah.
that before she got off the drugs. He wrote that
Wow.
years in advance. He wrote that when he still had the braids and like, I'm saving this song for Whitney Houston.
Wow.
And that
Wow.
song right there it's an emotional song.
Yes.
People laughed at her so much when she came back out singing, but that song had, when you listen to the lyrics, you hear the hurt of what a person is going through.
Yes.
So
Yes.
some people, that's like a person who's a poet. A poet is going to write what they feel, what they think in the different lyrics. So a
Yes.
songwriter is going to write what they think, what they feel in different lyrics.
Yes. You're right. You're
Um,
absolutely right.
yeah, that
I
that
will
is
I wow, that was really good. I've never had a guest that typically answered all three. You've given us perspective, you give
okay.
distraction, and oh, what about blessings since we're on the road
What's a song that gives blessing?
or provide blessings from your perspective?
Oh, that's a good one right there.
Yeah.
That's a really good one because every genre of music is so different at the
Yes.
time of your life. See, so some gospel songs I used to listen to, I won't listen to now
Mm,
because at that time of what I had going on, it spoke volumes.
correct.
Right now, I'm saying I don't want to hear that.
Hmm.
So it's the same. So when we say what speaks blessings, it was a song, Michael Jackson song that said "Heaven can't wait" and butterflies.
Okay.
Tell the angels no, I don't want to leave my baby alone.
Yes. Come
I
on,
don't
speak
want
up.
nobody else to hold you. This a chance I'll take. Maybe I'll wait. Heaven can
Yes.
wait.
Yes.
You remember that
Yes.
that song right there? That's a song I would sit with my children while they were resting
Mm,
and just play that because it's a nice soothing song.
yes.
Butterflies is another song off
Yes.
that Invincible album that they did not give him any credit for.
Okay, but that's
That
okay. That's
that
okay.
Rodney Jerkins, I got to give props to that brother in his producing ability. The way he produced Brandy's
Yes.
album, her Full Moon album, her what's that song? If you're looking for love, the love that was shed in the end of time, baby, relax your mind because it's here. I put that on everything. His writing ability is so dope.
Is masterfully.
See that and guess where he came from? The church.
Yes.
He's another one that came straight out the church. When I look at people like that and their ability, how they reach people, come on, that's beyond, the lyrics at those times. And the songs were so ahead of their times that they still have reverence right now at this time.
Well, we call that priceless, and that's what music is so important. I think you and I had a conversation years ago, and I can definitely relate. Everything is encapsulated with music. You go into the grocery store, you hear music in the background. You watch a commercial, you hear music. You get in your car, you
Yes.
hear music. Music is so penetrating. and it can just bring you in and just scoop you up. I always tell people music turned me out, and I don't believe anything else turned me out. And I say that in a respectful way, to
Yes.
say that it captured my being, my energy, and my soul, and I
Yes.
tap into it and I use it, whether it's for therapy, whether it's for elevation, whether it's for perspective. I can go on and on and on how music has blessed me. So, with that being said, can you give me a lyric of a song that you sung as a child and then you realize as an adult, you was like, wait a minute, I was saying this the whole entire time, and I realized that it means something totally different.
Ooh, ooh, hold on. I gotta pull that one up.
Uh-oh.
This is a song because I used to be around my grandmama them. Um,
You said
I,
grandmama them,
I
so
used to
I
be around
know.
my grandmama used to play these different songs.
Uh-huh.
And in this song right here, what did this man say? It's called Candy Liquor.
Oh, okay, come on,
I want
talk
to be
about it.
candy liquor. I want to be your candy liquor. Say, let me lick you up. Let me lick you down. Turn, baby, and let me lick you all around.
Uh-oh.
I'll lick, look. Oh, let me lick you, girl. Let your lover, let like your lover should. Oh, baby, oh, honey, I want to lick you, girl. I want to lick you and make you feel good. I was there. And look, we didn't know, you know what I'm saying? Because we wanted a sucker. We wanted, you know what I'm saying, get a lot of, you know what I'm saying? We'd be sitting up there playing with it. I want to be your candy. So when you listen to some of those songs and then you listen to like Aretha Franklin, I want some of that funky stuff.
Mm,
I didn't know what
mm.
that was. And that was on the song Giving You Something I Can Feel. Giving him
Oh,
something he can feel.
to
And then
let
in
him
Vogue,
know.
his love is real. And then In Vogue turned around and remade the song.
Yes.
That was on her Sparkle album
Yes.
when she did the soundtrack. So a lot of the song I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, you know, I couldn't wait till I love songs that have breakdowns too.
Okay.
And they had the breakdown, cut the music, and you just got like the drums, you know, baby. When they get to that, I'm like, oh yeah, this is my favorite part right here. When I listen to a lot of songs, I'll tell you a song, and this is going way backwards. A distraction song, we was about 11 when Tevin Campbell album came out. Remember that?
Hmm.
I remember first he did the song with Quincy Jones, Tomorrow.
Correct.
Tomorrow bring
Better you,
you.
better me.
Yes, and then we'll show the world. Yeah, that song right there, that was an inspirational song.
Yes.
That was an inspirational song for us as kids, and even as an adult, I still play that for my children to reassure them. When I hear a song that D'Angelo wrote for all that we'll call Black Men United, you will know.
Yes.
Things ain't easy, just stick with the plan.
Yes.
You know, that song right there, I remember I wanted to give up in the middle of somewhere. And that song came on out of nowhere. And I
Mm.
I had just got out of court. They told me I couldn't see my daughter. And I had to pay like $600 a month. My mom came with some bogus crap, and I'm like, I just want to be a part of my child's life. It was a fight. That's another story for another day. But that song came on at the right time.
Wow.
But then we're about 11. The Tevin Campbell song album comes out, and it's remember that song? What's your name? Tevin. I'll ask
Yes.
you again and again. And
Yes.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I'm getting excited because I'm like, man, I'm hearing the woman, Tevin. And you know, we
Yes.
ain't know no better. Ain't nobody control our hormones. I'm like,
Yes.
ooh, that sounds good. Ooh, you see what I'm saying? When we look at the
Yes.
music, when we look at the aspect of the music and the impact of what it had on us, that's so different.
Yes, definitely, definitely that. And I do remember that song, and I thought it was very dope. I think also songs need to be put in perspective. Like it's a time and place for everything, so it's a time and place for those songs as well.
Yes.
So, can you
Uh-huh.
tell me the first artist you purchased on your own? Meaning you had no influence. It was something that you gravitated to, whether you had some birthday money or someone said you can get what you want, and it was nobody else influence.
Well, I can't say that because that's a hard one. Because
Okay.
the first purchase I think I ever made, the first purchase I think I ever made was, I think it was a Mary J. Blige,
Which
the My Life album, My Life, My Life, My Life, My Life. If
oh
you're looking for love, you look for, I see.
yes.
Da-da-da. That
Yes.
album right there,
That was hot.
that album was nonstop, and I fell in love with Mary J. Blige because of my sister Camille. My sister would play Mary J. because you know on Saturdays we got to get up and clean up. So on Saturday we got to get up and clean up, and I want to rewind the song. We get into a fight while we clean up too. I want to rewind the song, but because the next song was her and Casey, you
Oh,
know, if loving you is all that I could do,
I don't
I
never
don't
want.
want to do anything else. That
Yes.
song right there was dope too, but I loved the My Life too right before that. So I want
Yes.
to rewind it. We get into a fight, messed up the tape, went and bought another tape. So there, because you remember back in the days when like 88.1 would play music, we would put the tape, we would put the tissue on top of the tape so that we could record over a tape that we didn't want no more. And we would sit there, and you have to sit there and time at the right time when they say Midnight Love coming to you right now. This is 80.1. We have Tevin Campbell, and you got to get there and you got to be right there. You got to press record at the right time. Then you can't go walk too far because they may jump to another song. You got to stop it.
Yes, yes, you
Remember
talking
that?
some good stuff. I know what you're talking
When
about.
we in my brain, my actual first purchase was me actually recording them tapes. Recording them tapes of different songs because it was so much. I can like give you like different stories of music we would listen to. I don't think a lot of music we would listen to, I don't think we should have listened to
Of course.
growing up. I because it is at the point it seemed cool.
Yes.
It seemed cool at the time. There was an artist by the name of Brother Lynch back in the day. We in there listen. I about 12, 13 years old. I was a dead man. Walk in, they say, and every night I hit the bait, loped up. And we in there rapping the song, you know what I'm saying? We won't know what the hell going on.
Wow.
Rest in peace. They just call me H and double O do both block. I got
What?
that number in the Glock and ready to put one in your knot. And we in there doing this. Now listen, I'm like, what the hell was going on with us? We at the house, ain't nobody watching us.
Yes.
We have to, you see what I'm saying? So, like you say, there's a timing of the music. So when kids are introduced to music, there are their friends that were introduced to the music.
Yes.
There are the parents that were introduced to the music. There's a television that it was so many influences out there, and it's really up to us to try to manage it as much as possible.
Well, also, that's a great point with managing, but also let them know that it is a behind the scene thing where it can pull you into a different energy source that
Yes.
may not be a benefit for you.
Yes.
So if we give them all the tools to the trade, because what we want to do is to teach them to be able to dissect on their own, even though we want to do it in phases. So
Yes.
if they're 2 years old, you shouldn't have them in the back listening to some hardcore rap. That's not right. But
Yes.
we know when they become teenagers, they're going to explore music, and that's okay. But if we're giving them like, hey, be careful, it can be little things that are put into music that can take you out
Yes.
of your realm. That's
Yes.
a different story. So again, exposure, education, and guidance is what we should be providing. And I think it makes a difference because music is so dynamic.
Can I say this? So, because
Absolutely.
our era of growing up in music, we started going into the gangster rap music, but then prior to that, it was something that was an influx for our hormones. If
Mm,
you look at that component right now, they were pushing more homosexuality with kids,
yes.
and it, not even just that, because when in the movies, when I'm correlating the two, in the movies that we used to watch, they would have a boy and a girl, and if we seen her bra strap, we like, oh, you seen her bra strap? Whoa. We, you know, we that was big stuff. Then they finally have her on the full bra. That was like our hormones igniting, right? So
Yes.
we are thinking about that. They was pushing our hormones. Now
Yes.
these kids, and we didn't know how to control our hormones
Hmm.
by being exposed to that. Now, if they're pushing homosexuality on children, they don't know how to control their hormones on that. So
Yes.
the music that they hear now is saying that I can do this for hours and hours and hours. I didn't know she was talking about a woman.
Excuse me?
Yes.
Okay.
The kids are one that educated me on it. I'm like, wait, what? Because I'm over there singing. I'm like, I like this right here. I put it down for hours, maybe 5 minutes, but I'll put it down too. You know what I'm saying? I'm making a joke. But then they like, no, she's talking about a woman. A woman? She's talking about a woman. It's such a sexy song that I'm like, well, I
Well,
like the
and
way
that
she's
goes
talking
to
to her.
show you how our perspective, even though you're saying it from your perspective.
Huh?
And let me say this.
Huh?
We just want to give our babies the information
Oh,
because
right.
we know we have some children and we don't want to say one is bad. We have children right now
Mhm.
that 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 is how they look at life.
Yes.
They are attracted to another male. They're attracted to another female.
Yes.
And we as adults ban them to hell. But they came through your Stargate. That's a whole nother. I don't
Well,
want to get into that.
let me throw this one out there too, because I'm tired of them old folks doing that to them kids. I watched that throughout my life.
And
I'm
it
tired of
scars
old,
them mentally.
it scars them mentally, and they cannot be themselves, and they cannot openly speak. So I'll say this really quick: is that I hate when a lot of the adults do that to them babies, and not knowing that Miss Bertha May been butch since the 60s and 70s. We
Okay,
wonder
can we
why she
use
had
up
that
to
whole
date?
thing.
Can we
You know,
use up to date
a stud.
language?
She was a stud back in the 60s. And y'all all know it, but y'all gonna cover her with the Bible. I'm tired of that bullshit. Then they sit there and bash that little boy that's trying to find himself. I had a problem with that. I was like, but Bertha May got the same haircut I got. She's still wearing that hot top fade. You know, a lot of the Caucasian women got mullets. So
Okay, I need to be brought back.
hey, listen, I'm just throwing that one out there. What I'm saying is, how dare you bash these babies and y'all got the same bullcrap going on? They had a hot girl summer going on in the 60s, but they covered it up because Bertha May was a stud. And ain't nobody want to think about that. Y'all want to talk about these kids. Let's talk about Bertha May and the homegirls
Well,
that still kick with them.
we know is nothing new under the sun.
Correct.
I advocate for you being fully who you are, regardless of what somebody feel, and not pushing your perspective sexually on someone. We
Yeah.
have taken what sexual orientation is, and we've taken that to who the person is.
Yes.
It should not be combined. If that person is loving and kind and their spirit resonates with you,
Mhm.
who are we to worry about what they do in their bedroom?
Very, very true. I'll like to say
That's
that
not our business.
it ain't none of our business. It ain't none of our damn business.
And the ones you think is doing what's quote
Mhm.
unquote with men and women, they might not necessarily be doing that. It may be a whole nother thing.
Right.
So I say all that to say, be you, be your most authentic self so you can elevate and live life to the fullest.
And to reassure those babies, always reassuring them,
Yes,
always
yes,
reassuring them that, you know what, regardless what, it's a no judgment zone.
yes.
It's a no judgment zone.
That was very important. Thank you. That was some very good wisdom that you provided. It's a no judgment zone. And I think even for, we say that for our babies, but we need to have a no judgment zone for adults. Now, here's the difference with adults: seek wise counsel. Know who you can have that with. Everybody is not going to give you that. But am I right or am I wrong, Mr. Funches?
A lot of these adults, we're gonna keep them on the prayer list for no reason. A lot of these adults that's out here is going bananas.
Yeah.
They are going bananas. Especially, have you seen? I'm gonna drift a little bit so you can laugh. Have you seen? It was a dude that had the Download Chronicles. He had some Download Chronicles, and he started telling some stories about the Download brothers that was trying to play hard to get.
No, but
A lot of these adults, look, a lot of these adults be having so much going on the back end, but then they take all the focus off of them and put it on these babies that's coming
well,
up.
again, that's called distraction. So we
Yeah.
can do what we want to do behind the scene, and there's levels to that. But I'm
I'm
gonna
talking about the
move.
ones that on I'm talking about the ones that on the download bashing the kids.
Correct, correct.
Not the one that's huh?
That's still distraction. They want to bash the baby because they don't want you to know what's going on behind scene. But
Yes.
that's another session, that's another conversation.
Okay.
But I would like to unpack a question from this
Okay.
perspective. We all have our peaks and our valleys, where that's a part of life.
Mhm.
Can you identify a song that has been consistently your tap in song that you can depend on and it has brought you up? Like you're like, oh, today is not the day. Your spirit feels so low. But once you play this particular song and you're like, wow, it has lifted me up and now I can move forward.
A song that has lifted me up and I can put it on repeat. Ooh, that's a good question.
Thank
What
you.
is the song? Who is an artist? I'm a huge Ludacris fan.
Okay.
I'm a huge Ludacris fan. So let me see. An artist that has a song. Man, I wish I would have known on the spot because this is hard because my brain is like everything is going on. I'm trying to like catch something. Like it's like spinning the wheel of fortune when he spilled that big old wheel, and I'm trying to catch it. A
It could be a
song.
gospel song too. It can be a rap song. It can be an everyday song. Just something to lift
I,
your
I'll
spirits up.
I'll bring up a song. It's called Lloyd True.
Mm.
It's Lloyd True. This
Tell
is
me about it. What is the lyrics of the song and why does it resonate with you?
um here I'll read it to you.
Okay.
I'll read it to you so that you can understand. So only reason why it resonates so much with me only because it's a lot of stuff that I dealt with at one phase
Mm-hmm.
that really meant a lot for me. So
Okay.
let me see. He had on the second verse, apologies if I ever let you down, but so much shit didn't happen that it's hard to talk about it. So many losses that my lawyer said don't talk about it.
Mm.
Just had to breathe, keep it cool till I walk about it.
Mm. Mm.
That right there resonated so much with me because I went through so many lawsuits back to back to back. And until you actually go through that, the different lawsuits and the different people that walk away from you when you have nothing, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are all good with you while everything is up and high.
Of course.
So what he was saying was, now I'm all right. He said, this is me. So please accept me for who I am.
Yes. Yes.
That song right there, um, I just yeah, that means a whole lot to me. Just hearing that. I'm just doing everything that I can because all I want to be is true. So please accept me for who I am. And please accept me for what I do. Because there's no me without you. And all I want to be is true.
Wow. That's beautiful. And that's your tap in song. When you need to be lifted up, you put that on and you can resonate with that.
I get a young brother props. Yeah, I didn't never really listen to him that much like that.
Mm-hmm.
But one day, I don't know, some kind of way I heard that particular song. That's the first song that comes to my mind right away.
Okay.
I am a music. I love music. So when you asking me this question, I'm like, I'm trying to home in on a song because there's so many songs. That's why I'm talking
Yes.
in the
Of
scatterbrain
course.
mode. I love music.
Yes.
I love music. There's a lady, a songwriter by the name of Leela James. Leela James had a song called "The Change Is Gonna Come." Not the
Mm.
Sam Cooke version, but it's a more up tempo off of her first album, and you'll literally have to see that, hear it to know what she was saying, because
Okay.
that's another song. Um, I have to pull the lyrics. Look, you should have told me in advance because this is like wow. Okay. Um,
You're
well, I said,
such a music buff. I had to do it a little different with you. So I figured
yes.
you would just,
So let me see. No, she had up tempo. Oh man, I'm gonna. I can't find it. It's not pulling up.
well, that's okay. If you find it later, just jump in and say, I have it, or do the church finger. Do the church finger like that.
Going to the bathroom. Going to the bathroom.
Or when you need to interrupt, you like
I
church
remember
finger.
we used to have the special kids jump up and say, I gotta go to the bathroom.
You know.
And they walk around. I was raised in a little hood churches. And somebody walk in the back and smack him in the back of the head like he was one of us. They never treated us any different. Never treated us, shut up, sit down.
Lord.
All treated on the same playing field. There was nobody better than the other.
Wow. Wow. So, with that being said, can you share? So, I'm a big believer in crowd participation songs. I
Okay.
think it is a high elevation when you see that. Like, for example, when people are singing happy birthday,
Okay.
everybody's participating together and the elevation is high. Matter of fact, I mentioned on my last interview, they have a new birthday song out. It's so dope. I said, my
Okay.
family need to learn it and sing it to me on my birthday.
Yeah.
But I digress. Can you identify a song that everybody participates in that has high elevation? You know, when people graduate, they use Drake's song. I started from the bottom, now I'm here. You know, those songs where everybody participate. Those are just examples. Can
Mm.
you provide a song that you participated in or you've seen a group participate in and it's high elevation?
Dun, 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 dun. Cameo. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
What is that song everybody dance to at weddings with Cameo?
It's like candy. No, that's not it.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
that's
it?
it. Yes.
Okay.
Wanna walk over me. It's like candy.
Yes.
Oh, I wanna feel it too. So,
Yes.
everybody would do the electric slide.
True. True.
Everybody would do the electric slide on that song. That's a definite song that comes to mind right away. Because a lot of
Yes.
your old school songs had full bands.
Say that.
A lot of them had more bands. See, when you go into more of your 80s, they had bands, but they started getting to more of your synthesizers.
Hmm.
But a lot of your old school had more bands, so that's why you would have a lot more of that funk music, just more up tempo and ready to go
Yes.
type of music. That was like all dance hall music. By the time we
Yes.
came around the 80s, I mean late 80s especially, you had
Gap
um
band.
oh, I forgot about the Gap Band. I still love Charlie Wilson.
Okay.
Charlie, what's up?
Yes.
Charlie. Um, I love the Gap Band. When you listen to what's the Whispers? Remember they came back out in the 80s? What was that song?
Whispers.
The song that the up tempo song they did in the 80s. That the
Olivia.
no, not Olivia. It was another song.
Um,
It was an up tempo song.
I
I got
don't know.
I gotta pull it.
Their catalog is amazing.
Yes, they had I gotta pull up their greatest hits because I'm trying to figure out what Rock Steady.
Oh,
Rock
yes.
Steady
Steady. Steady rocking all
all
night
night
long.
long.
And we
All night
begin to
long.
rock. Oh,
Yes,
I'm sorry.
that song right there. Because it was it Atlantic Star, the two brothers that was in the group that wrote that song and wrote some other songs. I think
For
for them, it was the two brothers. Cause
okay.
they were under Gamble and Huff at first. Not Gamble and Huff. What was his name? He wrote for the Papa was a Rolling Stone. Papa was a
Wherever he
Rolling. What was the dude? You remember on the movie?
wherever he
Norman.
laid his head.
Norman, I think
Connors.
Whitfield or some,
Was it Norman Connors?
not Connors. Norman, I can't remember his name, but he was writing for the Temptations. Um he was with Barry Gordon Motown at first, and then he started his own label.
Okay.
When he started his own label, then he had like groups like Atlantic Star, and then those two brothers broke off or whatever, and they started writing music. Then you remember Babyface was with Delay unto
Oh,
occasions.
the deal.
The deal. That's
Yes.
day. Then
And
they
night.
and then him and what's that? LaFace, L.A. Reid was a
Yes.
part of the group, and they both broke off together and started writing. Remember that?
Yes.
And then they wrote because he was writing so much music. Remember, he wrote his brother's whole album After Seven when they first came out.
That's right.
He wrote their first album. That was like up tempo song. Ready or Not.
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. And then
I'll give you
he was
everything.
supposed to produce their second album, but they came up MIA, so he needed somebody to fill the gap. And guess who he got? Johnny Gill. When
Oh,
you
okay.
listen
I
to
didn't know
My
that
My,
behind the scenes story.
My was supposed to be for them. If you listen to it, put on your red dress and
Yes.
slip on your high heels and some of that sweet perfume. It
Yes.
so smells good on you. If you listen to After Seven, you can hear the tempo in their voices. That was supposed to be Melvin leading that.
I did
Melvin
not
was
know
the
that.
lead, and Kevon Edmonds came in behind him to finish it off.
Okay.
That's how it would go. So that would have been one of their greatest hits had they showed up when they were supposed to.
Well, it was meant to who it went because
Yes.
he showed out on that song.
I'm going to tell you the coldest. See, I love Babyface too because Babyface is another great writer producer, just
Yes.
like Brian McKnight, Tim and Bob. I love so many different Tank, um,
Yes.
another great writer too. So
And
remember,
producer.
and producer, right? So now you look at how because Tank helped produce Genuine's album, he helped produce Aaliyah's album. Remember
Jamie
that
Foxx.
Jamie Foxx? He helped with Jamie Foxx, the Unpredictable album. That was a cold album.
Yes.
So you look at what was Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, how they produced and I love their backdrop too when they said we divided everything 50-50. So
Yes.
even if Jimmy Jam wrote this song, we both just still cut 50. If I did all the beats, we still do 50. We never cut each other out. So
But that
sometimes
goes to respect, that goes
yeah,
to consent, that
yes,
goes through a bond.
correct. Because when you look at a group like Silk, remember Silk first came out, they was under Keith Sweat. And
Didn't
they
know
was under
that.
Keith Sweat at first. Yeah, Keith Sweat produced their first album. Cause tonight, baby, I wanna get freaky with you. And they all were coming out of church.
Yes.
So they had an issue with that because they were like, oh my God, we ain't supposed to sing this. This ain't for God. And turned out to be one of the greatest hits. When they came out with that album, There's a Meeting in My Bedroom. When
Yes.
they came out with that album, remember the producer who did Busta Rhymes and Janet Jackson, gonna make your body wet.
Yes.
He came in and produced that album.
Wow.
So they had got him, and then by the time they were supposed to do it again, everybody broke up. But then remember, Babyface helped write on Usher's Confessions album.
Now
See,
that I didn't know either.
yes, he helped write. He helped write on that album, and he helped write on the My Way album. Because remember the song "Bedtime," laying your body all through the night, feels like I want to withdrawals. I wanna hold you. That was one of his older albums.
Okay.
Bedtime, and he gave that song to Usher to remake it. So Usher
Wow.
remade that song, and so Babyface helped write on the album. So him and Jermaine Dupri produced that album, helped produce it. Then by the time they came out with Confessions, they produced that album, which is one of the highest gross albums back in
But it
04.
was cold. Let's be real.
Non-stop.
Confession
Let me
was
tell you,
I
they had the part two. They had
yes.
the second album. Remember the extended one? It's like all these songs, and they used to have us wait for part two album, and you had to go buy the second album because then that's when he had put her on blast. When old girl answered the phone, it's like hello, and he was like, then he went into baby, I just we gonna talk no more. When I get it off my chest, all the shit I've been hearing, babe.
Yes.
That's the remix. And when they had Twister on
Alicia Keys was on
Kanye
that too,
West,
right?
she was on the Mabu. Yeah.
Okay.
That was the extended album.
Okay.
That was all the extended album because the first album had the same songs, but they put a Confessions part one and part two then.
Mm.
And they just added more songs. I mean, the dude, let me tell you, Jermaine Dupri, another cold producer. Jermaine Dupri, when he wrote Escape first two albums,
Yes, I
he
forgot
wrote that
about that.
album. And then My Little Secret was the biggest one when he wrote that because then they was talking about how, old girl was messing with him on the side. That was a dope one because he was with Janet Jackson still too. Jermaine Dupri, remember he dated Janet Jackson? That was a
Yeah,
huge.
but I didn't think that was during that time frame. Like that's two different time frames.
Well, we got to look it up. We gotta look
Okay.
at that to make sure. But yeah, Jermaine Dupri, another great producer, a super producer. When I look at Timberland, how he produced, remember Missy Elliott is a great producer.
Yes, and
Missy Elliott,
she's a cold piece, and she's a woman that they don't really talk about.
no, Missy Elliott said, I remember her, she doing an interview and she said, when I do all my records, I've never had Timberland and nobody in the room with me. It's just myself.
Hello.
She's so cold with it. And then Lil Mo is another one. Lil Mo is like underrated. Baby, come, put it on me. Uh, where would I be if I
Is that
wasn't for
Little Mo or is
baby?
that
Lil Mo.
okay?
I'm tired of being lonely.
Yes.
Yeah, her. She was. Remember, she did more features.
Yes.
She did more features, which blew her up. And then her uncle is John P. Key. Never knew that.
That's the yeah, is that her uncle?
That's
I
her
remember
uncle,
her talking about him in an interview, how he would teach them and guide them, and everybody wanted to be a part of John P. King. I like him
John
because
P. Key is dope.
he's a truth teller. I saw him at Mountaintop back in 2006.
Okay.
He gave us a word and he sung. He told the truth. He said, "I don't care." And he sung. And I just enjoyed him.
That dude, let me tell you something. I love people like him and Kurt Franklin in the gospel
Yes.
industry. Because a lot of your people who are most successful in the gospel industry, and I'm sorry, people may disagree with me, but if you listen to the songs, a lot of them don't always say Jesus. They say him. I thank him because they make it a universal statement. That's how the writer puts it. And some of them will say, I love you, Jesus. But a lot of them, when they were right, I love him. I love him. But John P. Key, that dude has brought out so many artists under him. And so with Lil Mo, she was saying she wanted to be a rapper. She was gonna rap.
Yes.
And he told her, he said, if you want to last the longest, you gotta sing. Singing is the hook. And so she did, went forward with singing. But Isaac Curry came from under that dude when he was like a teenager. We
I don't
used to
even
love,
know who that is.
okay, you gotta look him up. Isaac, he's a tall, slender dude. He used to sing, and he sung in this group called Men of Standard. He sung in a group.
Okay.
He sung on the something about the name Jesus.
Okay.
It is the sweetest name I know. That song, he was on that. I mean, I follow gospel so much too. My mama had a collection of gospel albums.
Oh wow.
Remember, we used to have them, and we'd put the record on, right? And that's when I got turned on with John P. Key because of my mama. So my introduction of so much different music came from my mama. My dad had an influence too. I got to give him his prop. Definitely my uncle. My uncle is the biggest freaking Aretha
Okay.
Franklin fan. I
Who don't
cannot,
know that?
I cannot go over this dude's house. And if Aretha ain't even on the radio, he'll put her on. I flew my uncle out to Aretha Franklin's funeral. Let me tell you this. Well, this is drifting, right? Because we're talking about music.
No,
I fly,
no, go ahead.
I fly my uncle out to Aretha Franklin's funeral. I'm honored to say that because I was trying to work on. I never said this either. I was trying to work on her coming to see my uncle exclusively at one of his birthday parties, but she got sick. I
Wow.
was going to pay for them to just bring her. She show up and leave. That's it. I just wanted her to show up.
He
And
would
then
have lost his cookies. You know
yes,
that.
this is the time when she got sick. She got really sick, so they canceled her shows. He took me to one of her concerts, and I was there. I really loved the concert, but I loved Mike Epps the most. Mike Epps was so funny. Nobody was laughing. This dude was so funny. I was on the ground laughing. So the whole stadium is laughing at me for being on the ground laughing. That was like a monumental moment. But I took my uncle to Aretha Franklin's funeral. There were so many artists in a hotel that I had booked for us. We seen Jesse Jackson, Kurt Carr.
Wow.
A lot of those artists were in, and my uncle recognized them. My uncle recognized, I don't know who the heck they are. I'm like, this man, sure, who is this? He like, that, I know him. And he telling me everybody. Then Jesse, we taking a picture. And Jesse Jackson walk up and say, let me get in this picture too.
What?
That was so dope, right? So those are monumental moments in the music and in history that I'm like, wow, this is so dope. I'll tell you another monumental moment is me and my mother got our bachelor's degree on the same day, on the same stage, in the same moment, and my mom walked in front of me.
Wow. Wow. Let me clap that up. Let me clap that up. That is amazing.
Yes. Not many people can say that in history. In history, it probably has happened, but a lot of stuff didn't sink in until I started healing.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm drifting like whole
Well,
conversations.
no, it's okay, but what I do want you to do, because I say this all the time, if someone pass away, a physical death, we don't want them to pass away a spiritual death. And why I say that, spiritually, they are still active. So can you please call your mother name so we can honor her?
Viola Green.
Yes,
Viola, mama,
yes,
mama. As a matter of fact, I should have brought a picture over here. Yeah, my mom, I was the biggest mama's boy in the world. And it's so imbalanced because I love my mom so much, but I had like all this displaced anger. And so because I wanted my dad to be there.
yes.
I wanted a relationship with my dad so bad, but it didn't happen. So my mom, the stuff that my mom taught me was she was like, I'm gonna teach you how to be the man I want, and you're gonna be great for a woman. And but I nobody taught me how to pick women.
Mm,
So I'm over here being a great man to the chick over here who's slanging that thing.
the wrong woman.
The wrong one all day. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh no, she cool, she one of God's children. I gotta help her. And my mom would have me, I would go to the store with my mom, and we would be in the store for hours, in hours, in hours. And she trying on clothes. Then she asks me what I think. Then I'm like, I don't like that. She like, you're gonna have to learn how to do this. Because if you get a woman that want to go to the store and she want to shop, you got to be ready to shop. If you get a woman that want to actually go here and do this, you got to be ready. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh my God. So my mom would literally have me sit in the store. I would sit there and rub my mom's feet for hours or rub my mom back for hours. I
Oh,
would go and get the feminine products. I would go to the store. I would sit there and cook. I would be there with my mom, not knowing how that I didn't know that that would make me a unique man.
yes,
I never knew that. You see what I'm saying? So
yes.
it's a lot of stuff where we miss along the way where I didn't know. I didn't know my work ethic was unique. I didn't know what she instilled. See, a lot of us as kids, we looking at what we want for that moment. We're looking at what we feel we should have at that moment, but we don't look at the longevity, the futuristic
Come on.
aspect of it.
Yes.
And the futuristic aspect of it is my mom preparing me. Excuse me. My mom prepared me for to have this conversation wholeheartedly. I had to heal myself from traumas that she never had a chance to heal because nobody ever walked her through the process.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? We miss it because a lot of the parents don't get the information that they need to become whole for their kids. So a lot of them are in survival mode all the time,
Hmm.
working all day and going through the same process.
Yes.
Nobody ever walked a lot of our parents through the process of how they need to heal.
Yes. Yes.
You see what I'm saying? These are all different things that along the way. So I had to learn to categorize everything, put everything in its right box. My mom introduced me to this type of music. My mom right here exposed me to this. We used to walk around the neighborhood and we would look at houses and we'd be like, ooh, tic tac, that's my house right there. And me and my mom would go on the weekends, we would go through open house and we'd just go through houses and walk through them. To this day, I still love that.
Well, that's a form of manifestation. Just going to look. That's a form of manifestation because you're putting that in your energy zone, and it gives you the you like, if I can see it, I can have it. That's
Yes.
just like they tell you if you want a new car. Some people tell you go sit in a car, go touch it, and then take that energy back, and then you can manifest that. So, regardless of what you saw it being, one, it was a time to bond with your mother, and
Yeah.
two, that was a time to produce that manifestation. Like, this is possible.
Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? And so all of my mother's kids have large houses.
See?
They're so crazy. But being in out of my mom's kids, my sister. I give my sister credit. She bought a house. Her first house she bought was with her ex. They bought a house together. So I gotta give her credit on that. But when my sister actually broke out on her own and bought a house, we are able to buy our own single houses.
Yes.
And we learned the process like so dope. Now on my dad's side, my my uncle was the first one. My Uncle Leslie was the first to
Wow.
purchase his house. And
Wow.
then we purchased thereafter. My Uncle Leslie is the first one that I know that actually had his degrees. Especially out of the men. I don't even know how many women had a degree in their family, to be honest with you.
Well, we clap that up and we say
Yeah.
because we're setting an example for someone that wants to go down that road to obtain that and know that it's possible. It really is. It's not a cliche to say anything is possible. It really is. But do you believe? Do you believe it's possible? That's my
Well,
biggest thing.
um, I, I believe anything is possible. When we look at may I say this too?
Yes.
As just a whole nother subject line. When we talk about the degree line, right? Now I went to
Yes.
school, got all these degrees, and I felt like none of my degrees helped me in business.
Mm.
I look at things so different now. I encourage kids to go get trades. I encourage kids
Yes.
to just jump out there and start working because when I got these degrees, like my degrees are in education, and I got a degree in teaching. Why do I have to go through some hard testing to try to get the licensing and you study for the test, and ain't none of the stuff you study on the test ain't on the test.
You
That,
talking to
that is so.
somebody.
So you got to look at the fact that I've gone to school all these years. I come out in debt, and then I got to go pay to take a test that I can't even pass because none of the stuff I study is on the test. None of the stuff I learned in school is on the test. And you all are telling me that I should be qualified to be a teacher. As a school teacher, if we're hurting for teachers, why are they making it so complicated for people to go into the classroom and work with the kids? Because they don't teach you how to deal with the disciplinary issues. They tell you how
Yes.
to write a lesson plan. They don't
Yes.
tell you how to deal with kids who don't have food, kids who are actually being neglected. They don't teach you that stuff
That's right.
in college. So now when I look at the phase of college, I look at some of the kids, right? When you look at your most successful people, how many degrees does Warren Buffett have?
I have no idea.
How many degrees does Floyd Mayweather have?
I have no idea.
Right? We don't talk about their degrees. We talk about their successes. We talking about a lot of people who had the success who started off running with their career. How many degrees does Mike Tyson have?
I have no idea.
No idea, right? So he started as a young boy. He's working because he's working on that, and it was time to get up and go. A lot of people, parents who have the education, the background, teach their children, you're going to take over this business.
Yes.
You're not going. They may go to college, may go and may do a 4 year for as a cover up for whatever else. But other than that, no, you're gonna go straight. Or you can go to college and experience, meet new friends and stuff. But a
Yeah.
lot of the kids literally start at younger ages and they take over the business. When you apply for a business degree, a business license, did they ask for your degree when you apply for your license?
Absolutely not.
When they
Here's
asked,
my here's my thing if I can jump in.
mhm,
Everybody you mentioned Mike Tyson, who else did you mention?
Floyd Mayweather, Warren
And
Buffett,
Warren Buffett. You have to have your own natural instinct to want to go for what you want. A
yes,
degree can be one part of it, but it does not necessarily have to be. You have to have that. As the old folks say, it's nothing like a made up mind.
that is so
When your
true.
mind is made up, I don't care who comes to you, you still are looking for solutions. You're looking for
Yes,
ways to move forward. And I
yes,
think that is the biggest life lesson, whether it's a college degree,
yes,
whether it's a singing career, whether
yes.
it's a business to be an entrepreneur. Is your mind made up?
That is a great point. That is a very great point because now look at this. All right, because I'm going this direction. You look at Venus and Serena Williams.
Yes.
How many degrees do they have?
I'm not sure. I know their dad was big on education.
Right. Okay. So their one sister went to college, and they started working. They started working to perfect their craft.
Yes.
Tiger Woods, how many degrees do he have? His dad mentored him. How many degrees does Michael Jackson have? His dad
You
mentored
talking
him.
some
So
good
when we're
stuff.
looking at these kids, they started at young ages working on the craft that they're going to be doing down the line.
Yes.
If we were the parents that start helping our children perfect their craft right now,
Come
by the
on,
time
Mr.
they turn
Funches.
our age, they retired. They're not
Listen,
struggling. That is where we got to change this scenario at.
Come on, this is the other side of the game that nobody is talking about. Now
Yes.
let me take that back. Let me correct my language.
Oh, you
It
good?
is people that are talking about it, but it's being spoke about in secret societies or secret ways. Nobody is saying that it's more than one way to do something. And
Yes.
I think that was such a valid point that you brought up that our children need to understand. Well, I'll take this back because our babies are saying, we're going to do it our way,
Hmm.
regardless.
Correct.
Their way, they're not in this antiquated system. They're breaking through walls, they're doing
Yeah.
things different. We just have to provide some balance for them.
And a lot of them have different information that we didn't have because we
Yes.
did the computers mainly until we was in high school
Yes.
or so. So they have different type of information. But if we start perfecting that, that's one of the things. Now I give credit to my uncle because he's like, go to college. You need to go to college. So I went to college. School was very hard for me because I was bored, not because it was
Oh,
hard. They didn't meet me where I was at. See, my learning ability is if I know too much already, I'm bored. So I
yes.
was the type of kid I would get in trouble all day in school. I would be doing things, interrupting class and whatever, because I was bored, but nobody understood that. If they tell me to sit down and study over something, I don't necessarily have to study. I can skim over it and I'm going to pass it tomorrow. That's my learning ability. But they didn't ever meet me there. But my
Mhm.
mother said, you need to go and become a plumber, electrician. You're good with your hands. You're better with that. See, my mom's vision of what she's seen in me. But because I didn't have a male figure, I listened to my uncle because I want to follow his lead because he's the only man that I have to actually follow.
But look how both
You
of
see what
them
I'm
have
saying?
really blessed you, though. Look at it
Exactly.
from that. I'm
So
sorry.
that's why I said, no, no, you good, mama. That's why I said I had to learn how to compartmentalize my emotions when it came to situations. See, if you don't learn how to compartmentalize your emotions with the different situations and see if this was a benefit or if this was more harmful, then that's where the confusion where kids are more off to block everybody, more off to cut everybody off because I don't know how to express my emotions.
Yes.
So now I know how to deal with my emotions when it comes to me talking about this subject line with you. I
Yes.
didn't know how to do
Yes.
that at first.
You know, I think you and I, we can go down the rabbit hole and up the rabbit hole and outside the rabbit hole with so many things and so many layers. And I always enjoy having the different perspective from how you see things as well as how I see things. So
Uh-huh.
I truly, truly thank you for just giving, you touched on so many valid points. You gave perspective from males to see things through a different way because sometimes it's not received coming from a woman
Mhm.
versus a man. So hopefully this can open up his heart to go a different path or to seek some counseling or to seek some guidance or
Mhm.
to seek a mentor. So
Can I say
before,
this? I'm sorry, ma.
yes, no, go ahead.
You
You
said
said something?
I was gonna say too, and this is kind of touching on what you're saying about with the men part, is a lot of women, if you have a man that wants to be there for his child and you know he's a good father, let the child go be with their father and don't go try to
I
find
agree.
another man to mentor them.
I agree.
That is the greatest slap in the face in the world. Is that they say my child don't have nobody to work with and it's so bad, blah blah blah, and they got a father right up the street that's ready and willing to take that child on,
You said the key word. Let's be very clear. Ready and willing.
ready and
That's a
willing.
whole nother thing because it's men right up the street and not ready and not
Yeah.
willing.
Yes, and
So that's the key part to all of this.
we all know what type of person we choose too.
Yes.
The last time you and I talked on and we did the interview and we talked about relational wise, I know what type of person I chose.
Hmm.
Now I can embrace that for what it is.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
stop walking around talking about they lazy, they don't know this, they don't know. I know I chose that. I
Yes.
chose that. Most people choose a person that they can control. Stop trying to bash the person because you chose somebody that you could control. You chose a scenario that you knew was unhealthy. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
Mentally, go ahead.
and again, that's a whole nother
Yes.
conversation. We can definitely, like I said, we can always dial down deep. But before we get out of here, I want the audience to be able to have the opportunity to reach out to you if they would like to maybe come onto your podcast or pick your brain or even provide some kind of mentorship if needed. Just you giving your own story or your own perspective can open up another avenue for men that may not have had that opportunity to do so. So, can you tell us about any social media platforms or how they can get in contact with you?
So if a person actually is interested, you can hit me up on either Instagram. It's called The Real Clevonne. It's Thereal Clevonne, Clevonne. And that's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you want to email me, you're more than welcome to at clevondf at Yahoo. That is Clevondf at Yahoo as well. I would be gladly to have others on. One of the things I've been touching on right now is healing. A lot of people who have dealt with different abuse to express their feeling, what they've been through, the struggle. And my struggle, I've been through a lot. When I hear a lot of other people struggle, I'm like, wow, it was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
Ah,
It was frustrating, but it wasn't that right there. When you hear the story of the kids that talk about how their parents set them up, when you hear the story of the kids that talk about how they lived in different shack buildings from place to place or live with bed bugs and stuff, I'm like, ooh, wow, we live with roaches. I could deal with them roaches. Them roaches was like kind of our cousin. You ever seen the people who got roaches and we the only ones that was spotted. We see the roach come out when our company come over, we like we look at each other, the roast fall on your shoulder, you go pat him like, girl, you look at you, your shoulder's strong, try to kill the roach. I could deal with them roaches. We ain't never had no bed bugs. We ain't never had some of that other stuff go on. And that is the craziness of so much trauma. So I am in the space right now to give to
yes,
help people with the right information so you can get there and not spend so much time of dealing with the anger, but start going into the happy healing aspect of things.
yes, yes,
That's a
yes.
that's a tough place to get to be honest with you.
But it's layers to it, and we know that it's possible. You're a prime example of that. And is it any other information? Can you tell them about your podcast, the name of it again, or
Oh,
did you mention
okay.
that?
The podcast. I do apologize. The podcast. I just started a new YouTube channel. It's called The Real Clevonne. The Real Real Clevonne, Clevonne. And if you want to, also had another podcast with No Feelings, Just Facts, with a group of people that I got to give kudos to who really helped me through the process.
Awesome.
They added a layer of shielding around me while I was going through after my mom passed, when I was trying to find myself. They were available for me to fight with. We would argue, and I appreciate both of them for that. They
That's
they
amazing.
have no clue how much I appreciate them for that.
That's
So
amazing.
that I got to give props to Ron and Tasha. Ron Murray, Ronald Murray, find him on Facebook, and Tasha Virgil. You can find both of them. They both laid back people. I've known both of them for many years. I didn't know that they would come in this capacity to help me when I needed them like that.
Well, and here's my thing: when you know growth is in your energy zone, is when you can give thanks for the people that have provided something in your space. We always have to remember to say thanks. And
Yeah.
with that being said, before I leave, I always say the journey is just as important as the destination. The journey is where we learn and grow, but the destination is where we celebrate. And we have to have a time where we can celebrate. But when it's all said and done, we have to get back into the journey and we have to continue to live. So this has been my time. I thank you guys. I say, come join me, not follow me on Message Reveal. It's every Monday at 7 o'clock on YouTube. You can tap in. But first and foremost, I want to thank our guest, Mr. Clevon Funches for
Mm,
coming on. And we are blessed to have you. And before we get out of here, is there anything else you would like to say?
nothing else. I encourage you to keep going. I so appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to come on your platform to connect with you and have this dialogue, and people can hear our this natural conversation
Yes.
of debate, positive debate. I love speaking with you. And I love your background. Tell your mama I say what's up too. Make sure you tell your mama. Tell your mama. Tell your mama. I say what's up. That chick is dope as ever. Like super
Yes.
dope. And Miss Peggy is dope. I ain't sat down to
Yes.
talk with her, but I'm gonna tell you right now, there aren't too many. There's a lot of her out there, but I haven't seen them.
Well, I'm thankful. I'm glad you brought up my mom. Shout out to Sister Peggy. I call her Sister Peggy, Nana, and all those things. I would not be sitting here. I would not be the woman I am if it was not for her support. More importantly, her love and guidance.
Yeah.
And she always kept it real. So, with that being said, you guys, please, please, please get a warm round of applause to Mr. Clevonne
Hey,
Funches.
get her.
And I shall see you soon. And thank you. And I'm pretty sure we'll have to have you by popular request. I'm pretty sure someone will say, hey, have him on again. And if so, if it does go to that level, would you mind coming back on again?
I would love to come back and just having this dialogue because me being raised in church, and church used to be my outlet to go encourage people. So I look forward to that. And when that was stripped away from me, I didn't know what to do. And I just
Wow.
started talking to different people. And they're like, you know what? Just millions of people that don't know you. Go talk over here. That Tasha and Ron,
Yes.
just by default. And
Yes.
just so happened there are millions of people I don't even know that have reached out to me. And I appreciate those people. Thank you all for the support. Those people
Yes.
are true supporters. They really, really have had my back when I needed them. So thank you all.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. You guys, one more time, Clevonne Funches.
All right. All right.
Thank you, and we'll talk soon.